Hey, good morning, survival litters, and welcome to week, I believe it's number 7 of distance learning, and we are on starting chapter 14 of Buried in the Sky today. My family and I had to get a different look, a different scene from our house, and so we moved operations out to our cabin just north of Grand Rapids here, and we're going to spend most of the week out here and do distance learning from here. So anyway, so a couple changes that I want to go over with you as far as class stuff goes. If I can open up the class calendar, maybe not. Anyway, I'll just talk about it here as I open it up. And um, so we have chapter 14 and chapter 15 this week. And so we're really just finishing up those chapters. So by next Tuesday, we'll have both of those chapters. We're gonna have the book done, okay, by next Tuesday. Now, so we have this week, and then this weekend is Memorial Weekend, and you guys don't have school, okay, next Monday, so a week from today. All right. So here's kind of what it looks like. So you get in chapter 14 here today. Read the chapter. It's all due on Wednesday the 20th. The text and guided reading questions are due that day. Then you get chapter 15. You have these 3 days to work on it. You have Monday off, so don't worry about doing anything over the 3-day weekend. Enjoy the weekend. And then these last 3 days really of school here is, I found a short video. I want to say it's like 10, 12 minutes long, but it was taken by Wilco during his time at K2 during this tragedy. And it's him. You can hear my dog slurping up water over there. The video is of him climbing and this and that, and it kind of shows, K2 in all its glory and all its anyway, it's an interesting video. So all you're going to have to do these 3 days is watch a video and answer a few questions, maybe just a discussion question, something really simple. And then June 1 and 2, you guys are turning in your iPads. I got nothing planned for you for those 2 days. So get your iPads turned in. The other thing that you're going to have to do is, if you borrowed a Buried in the Sky book, if you borrowed one of those books, you got to get that back to me. Okay? You have to get your books turned back to me. All right? All right, so let's take a look at the notes. We'll go over that quick for chapter 14. All right, let's take a look at the notes for chapter 14. Not a terribly long chapter. It's about 13 pages long. And this is really about them getting off the mountain. It's really about the climbers, the tragedy, the death kind of toll, the death things have kind of ended, and now it's getting off the mountain. All right, so section 1 starts off with Marco is rescued by Pemba. Marco's kind of out of his mind. Pemba tries to give Marco oxygen, but Marco refuses because he wants to climb the mountain without oxygen. Okay. Pemba pulls Marco away from an avalanche. And then we go into section 2. This is where rescuers use GPS coordinates from Wilco's satellite phone to find him. So every time Wilco called his wife, the GPS coordinates connect to his phone. And so basically they spot Wilco up on the mountain, and his best friend Cass Vanden Gevel climbs down from Camp 4. He climbs down to rescue Wilco. All right, so Marco and Wilco are rescued. Section 3 takes place, we're back at base camp. And the reality of the tragedy starts setting in with people. You have empty tents. You have people who have left stuff behind that are now dead, buried, gone on the mountain. Jumik's wife, they find out Jumik's wife gave birth to a son on July 29th. Probably about 3 days later from the birth of his son, he dies. Nadir, the guy who rescued Shaheen, he's the cook for the Serbian team. He starts making nameplates to add to the Gilkey Memorial, nameplates of the dead climbers. Marco and Wilco are back down in base camp now, and Eric Meyer, the American who Cheering was climbing with, he sets up basically a field hospital and is treating Marco and Wilco for severe frostbite. Um, they need serious medical help, and the flying jump paid $60,000. Okay, so Pasang, the flying jump's main Sherpa, and the flying jump, the rest of the Mr. Kim, Miss Go, they paid 60 grand to be helicoptered out. And it talks about how that money, if they would have just trekked out like everybody else, they could have taken that $60,000 and given it to Big Pasang and Jumik's kids. No, remember Big Pasang and Jumik were wrapped up in rope with each other and died in the avalanche. That $60,000 would have set their kids up for life, but instead they used it to get themselves out. All right, section 4 talks about the Fearless Five. This is an elite military group in Pakistan. They specialize in helicopter rescues in the mountains. This section talks about how there's no room for error, how highly trained they are. There's lots of obstacles in flying up into the mountains of the Karakoram, right? The flying jump and Wilco, they had already been airlifted out, so the rest of this kind of section deals with getting Marco airlifted out, and they do get him out and to a hospital. Section 5, we meet back up with Shaheen. Now remember, Shaheen was supposed to be in charge of all the climbing. He was supposed to be in charge of all the Sherpas and the high altitude porters and all that, but he got sick in camp, I believe it was camp 2 or 3, and almost died, and Nadir had to climb up and rescue him, remember that? So he's trekking out by mule. He hears the helicopters, and he starts getting news about what happened on K2, the tragedy that took place, the number of people that died. And he regrets. I mean, he starts having all kinds of, hindsight is 2020. He starts replaying things in his mind, the decisions that he would have made. He said he would have tried to dissuade climbers from continue climbing after the 2 o'clock turnaround time that he set. He would have never let he would never let climbers to go to try to, remember Dren was the very first climber that fell and died, and then they tried to bring his body down, and then Jihan fell and died. I mean, he would have never allowed, Shaheen would have never allowed that to happen. So he kind of has a lot of regrets about what happened to him. But he wants to get ahead of the news, and he wants to go tell Kareem and Jihan's families that they passed away on the mountain. He wants to tell them the news himself. But the news beat Shaheen to those families in their village, and they find out before Shaheen can get to them. All right, that's really all I got for you for chapter 14. All right, survival litters, that's all I got for you. Again, follow the class calendar. You got chapters 14 and 15 this week into next week. You have Memorial Weekend, so you got a 3-day weekend coming up. We're following the same kind of routine here with this, is read the chapter, answer the questions. You can do it either the good old-fashioned regular chapter here, or you can watch the Ed Puzzle video, answer the questions embedded in the video, and away you go. Take care of business. All right. You're coming into the last little bit of school. Okay, you guys are almost done with your junior year. You're going to be seniors next year. Whatever next year is going to look like, who knows, right? But take care of business. Get things done. Take care of business. End the school year on a high note. And that's all I got for you. All right, have a great week. Enjoy Memorial Weekend. And remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and take care of your friends. We will talk to you later. Bye.